𝗥𝗢𝗨𝗡𝗗.
𝗥𝗢𝗨𝗡𝗗.
Yes, ma'am.
𝗥𝗢𝗨𝗡. Great. And remember, guys, we want this to be a discussion, so I'm going to lead the discussion. But if there's anything you want to add or ask each other, it's very, very informal. We just want to get the information out. So feel comfortable, loose, you know, everything's good. It's all good. So it's not a talking heads. It's informal and fun.
Okay.
Michelle is social with us today?
Yes, I'm gonna stay with you, Jill. So you
You're
don't
gonna
feel alone.
stay with me?
Yeah, so you don't feel alone. Just RX and you by
How could I feel alone with these four good-looking men?
RX in my water in Vegas.
You have to have your dog for protection.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to see your faces. We have so many wonderful people here, and it's such an important topic. Today, we're going to discuss hydration and health, which is vital, particularly during this pandemic. And we are lucky enough to get a team of experts, the group from RX Water, who can help us understand the relationship between well-being and water. So first, I would like to introduce our panel. Okay, so who do we have up there first? Let's see. I see David.
Hello.
So David, how are things where you are, first of all, David Nazar?
Things are slowly starting to return to a little bit of normalcy, but then it seems like there's some news that, you know, you kind of take a step back. So we're taking everything in stride, you know, and just trying to make the best decisions, you know, for the future. But we're lucky enough where in our business, a lot of the stuff can be hands off with our home deliveries, with delivering water to people. So we've been very busy during this time. It's just that, you know, the gyms, the schools, things like that we were involved in is just kind of at a standstill. So we're just kind of in limbo right now. It's kind of a waiting game to see how the next couple of weeks and months play out with back to school and things like that.
Well, David Nazar is from New Jersey, and he is the public relations, operations, and product development of RX Water. So I'm glad that things are tolerable. We all wish for things to be better.
Yes.
And now we have Tony Nazar. Hello, Tony. How are you doing?
Jill. Good. How are you? I missed you. How you been?
I miss you too. We're all so far away, but we'd be far away if we were a block apart.
True.
It's just the way it is. So Tony is a New York artist. He's a kickboxer. Is that right, Tony?
Yes, prior.
And he's in charge of the social media direction, and he's also a boxing enthusiast, correct? You box.
Yes, I have in the past.
So you know how important hydration is to an athlete.
Absolutely.
That's great. And we have Michelle Solomon from the WBC. Hi, Michelle.
It's a pleasure.
Michelle put this all together for us.
No, it's a real pleasure to be with all these great faces that I know around. That's the blessing of boxing. You get to know people that are amazing, like you, Jill, and David, and Tony, and the doctor, and Harry. And it's a pleasure to see you. And it's great to learn about hydration because we don't take care of ourselves while we're here in the pandemic. Mexico is getting kind of crazy still. So it's good to learn, and a pleasure to be with all of you.
Thank you, Michelle. And Harry Anshe from California, a humanitarian, we love that word, and in charge of charitable causes and give back, and a scuba diver.
Yes.
How are you, Harry?
I'm very good, Jill. It's a pleasant, obviously, seeing your beautiful smile, my good friend Michelle, as well as the other team members. I wish you, the WBC family, all the supporters nationally, globally, really the best blessings that life has to offer. This is a very tough time that we're going through as a human race, And I know we will conquer, and I know we will do better, because that's just the resilience and the resolve that we have. Yeah.
Thank you. And how are things in your part of California?
California, honestly, in the Coachella Valley, where the doctor and I reside, is actually pretty stable. There is about, I want to say about a 20% uptick. It's not as severe as LA County and some of the horrible stories that you hear in that vicinity. Needless to say, there's a big elderly population and stuff like that here. Military, a lot of Indian tribes and stuff that honestly we're very, very concerned about, given the viciousness of this virus. But I think, you know, everyone's taking very good precautious measures. And I think as a whole, the state is trying their best, like every other state, to basically exceed the expectations of its citizens and do what's right, so to say.
It's important. I mean, I'm based in New York, so we went through it with a very difficult March and April, but with the right precautions, we seem to be pulling out of it much more now. And I wish you the same.
Likewise.
And Dr. I'm going to do this right, 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗞𝗦. Say it, please.
No,
Is that
you
correct?
said it. Yeah, you said it perfect.
Wow, that's amazing. I could never be a ring announcer because that is my weakest suit. But what an impressive resume you have. California urologist, a surgeon, the Da Vinci machine pioneer, and a scuba diver. So is that how you two met, scuba diving? You and Harry?
Actually, the story is a bit long, so I won't bore you with all the details. But actually, David and I knew each other first, and it was during David's what was it, David? It was a birthday or a wedding.
David, your mic is off.
Yeah, it was
my eldest daughter's first birthday. So she's 14 now. So that was 14 years ago in June that we met.
So
Not that we met, but that we
had a really rough day that day, and so I decided to cancel on David, and but David kind of was insistent that I show up, so I did. So they threw me in the back of a room, thinking that I'm on VIP status there. He throws me in the back of a room, and I'm sitting with this other couple, and Harry being the gentleman. And I actually didn't like him at first. He was the
basis of some great relationships.
So, and I was a bit down. I had a hard day. A particular case had gone terribly wrong, and I was quite sad about it. But that started our relationship, and next thing we know, we're taking family vacations, and I introduce him to diving, and I get him certified, and now we've been diving ever since, and among many other ventures. So that's the story of our relationship.
Well, soon we're going to find out how all four of you came together. But water everywhere. Which one do we drink? I mean, that's the basic issue that people have. I mean, we all know that hydration is essential to us, especially during the pandemic. I know when I'm wearing that mask, which everyone should be doing, that the only relief I can get from that is getting a little bit of water so that I don't feel completely depleted. So and the other thing that amazes me about RX, I mean, you people take everything so personally. I mean, the last time I saw Tony, he and David were in a truck on their way to Minneapolis, to where all of the protest was going on, with a truckload of water, just to make sure the community had some saturation. I mean, it's quite, you people, quite amazing. So what I really want to know is, how does a drop of H2O become a drop of H2wow? So you guys are everywhere. You seem to know everything. You're traveling everywhere. This is a new company. It's a vibrant company, and it's made up of some spectacular people. So the first thing I want to know is, how did this journey start?
Yeah, I'll jump in there, as I'm very, very proud of the team. I'm very proud of our network. I'm very, very proud of the relationship, obviously, that we have together. This was birthed about essentially 3 years ago. We were inspired, and the diving group was inspired by what was going on in Flint. I shouldn't say inspired, but more like angered. And we didn't want to just be a band-aid in this situation and just, donate pallets of water, like, and look for photo ops and this without making true substantial change. So birth was RX. The doctor sitting at the helm came up with a very nice, clean formulation with no fluoride, no sodium, bottled at a 9.5 pH plus, and really created a product that hydrates you at a nice, clean cellular level. Through the product, we really wanted to create a true change in Flint, which we were very excited about. We were working with Showtime and with the Clarissa Shields fight that was coming up, and we wanted to sponsor 150 kids, working with the mayor and council of Flint. And the same way that you get a 5-gallon jug, the same way that you get a recycling bin at a lot of homes and stuff, we wanted the mayor and council to give a 5-gallon jug to the community, starting and birthing in Flint and spreading this, across the nation. So by giving the 5-gallon jug, we wanted to do a reverse osmosis machine in every firehouse in the vicinity. So this way, that would actually fuse the first responders as well as the community, rather than picking up a case of water and then what? Some other celebrity types have looked for photo ops and this and that. We're actually completely the opposite of that. And so we were about to obviously make this announcement and what we want to do with Flint and whatnot. And who better than, honestly, the GOAT, the greatest woman fighter, being Clarissa in her hometown. But unfortunately, the pandemic has put a slight delay on that, and we can't wait to get back on task. But the movement was born there, and I think that the traction, the love, and everything else that we've gotten has stemmed from that true focus and that true equivocal goal. On a global scale, Dr. 𝗥𝗢𝗨𝗡𝗗, as well as Dr. 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗞𝗦, who's a renowned plastic surgeon, we've already been working with the Paul Chester Foundation that has been doing global surgeries and philanthropic world, or with almost like you could compare to Doctors Without Borders, but a slightly more grassroots type of feel. Hence why we're passionate about the WBC, what obviously the late 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗗, what he stood for in his sector of the world and of sports and whatnot, really putting boxing and boxing fighters first, right? First with regards to safety, first with regards to health. Obviously, with some of the dehydration stuff that has happened to fighters recently, I know Dr. 𝗥𝗢𝗨𝗡𝗗 was very angered about that and expressed that in different meetings with Mauricio, to come up with a true hydration protocol for fighters. And the synergies and the tractions are all there. And the development of what we've done, I think, in this short relationship, a very fruitful and joyous relationship with the WBC, we're extremely proud of. Obviously, the WBC family, WBC Cares, which is yourself, you've always have us 24/7 for anything
No.
that's to you that holds dear to yourself, and because you're such a beautiful person, really, and have such a good aura and a presence about you, as well as other members of the 𝗧𝗟𝗡𝗏 family, obviously Michelle, the brothers, Nancy out in LA. I mean, it's been just such a beautiful, synergetic growth, and we love the projects and stuff that we're jointly working with the WBC, and the partnership is really just such a natural, cohesive relationship. So that's a quick snapshot of how we were birthed.
Yes. I love that. I love that photo. So in a way, are you saying that when somebody drinks RX water and purchases it, they're buying more than just water? They're buying community service. They're buying a conscientious contribution to people all around the world. So that's pretty heavy stuff. So, doctor, what is medical grade water? What does that mean really for us out there who don't know anything about it?
So the best way to answer that is to just quickly understand what water is all about.
Please.
In 2020, back in the 1960s, 1950s, bottled water was basically non-existent. Why do we have bottled water now? Why do we have so many different brands? Besides the marketing aspect of this game, I would say, the reality is the quality of tap water has declined over the last number of decades. With increasing utilization of herbicides and pesticides and various contaminants that we have, the quality of your tap water, unless you're getting it directly out of wells, and even some wells are becoming contaminated. Problem is, the reality is, environmentally, we have not been friendly to our home, our place of where we live, which is Earth. And as a consequence, the nutritional, influences have declined over the years, and tap water is really becoming quite potent. And in Michigan being a perfect example, and the catalyst behind this our movement, at least. So that's the reason why most places, at least in the United States and most industrial nations, tap water is no longer good enough. It has a lot of contaminants. So that's why more and more people are going to bottled water. So that's the first part of understanding what bottled water is all about. Then we're talking about regular water versus alkaline water. A person that is perfectly healthy, quite honestly, there is no difference between consumption of regular water versus alkaline water. However, more and more of us, as we age, various aspects of our physiology does decline and does decay over time. I myself, as soon as I hit my 40s, I began to experience acid reflux. A few years earlier, I had a kidney stone that was actually made out of uric acid. I have, I'll share, I hope Harry doesn't get mad at me, but Harry has gout, which is a arthritic condition that is purely because of accumulation of uric acid in the joints.
And incredibly painful.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So if you have a perfect normal physiology, probably alkaline water will not help for the average sedentary person. But for those that do have some of these issues, it helps restore the natural physiology that you're accustomed to. So your abnormal physiology, your changes in your body, whether it was diet, induced, or let's say you gain weight, that have led to all those negative impacts on your physiology, it allows you to rebalance it. Ever since I went on alkaline, I never had to take another Prilosec, which is a common medication for acid reflux anymore. I stopped getting kidney stones. In fact, I had little tiny calcifications in my X-rays. They're gone because of constant exposure to alkalinic water. So the idea is that if you're going to hydrate anyways, might as well do it with a product that actually helps restore those balances. Now, for the athlete that is perfectly healthy, there's a different element that comes into factor, which is very simply the fact that as we exercise, lactic acid builds up in our arms and legs and in our muscles. So the fatigue sets in. Studies have shown the longer you exercise, the more lactic acid builds up, the pH drops, the fatigue sets in. And if you can just delay that or reduce the peak of that, then you can actually increase your endurance. Studies after studies, both in mild all the way to very competitive athletes, have shown this for a fact. The problem is out there in the industry, a lot of these alkaline waters use fluoride and use sodium.
Well,
And
that was going to be my question. Why RX water?
so,
How is
so
it different?
that's why the formulation on this, that's what we're very proud of. It contains no fluoride, which is not good for your gums and teeth, especially if you're constantly exposed to it. When it comes to the fact that it lacks sodium, sodium is salt, and it's the component for the bicarb that you add. Bicarb is what allows the pH to go up and gives you all the benefit. But you have to combine it with a salt component. But if you add it with salt, which is what most companies out there do, it actually makes you thirsty. That's why you'll notice that if you're drinking soda, you'll crave more of it because it actually makes you thirsty. It initially makes you feel like you're hydrated, but then very soon thereafter, you're thirsty again. It's a gimmick. It's a way to fool one's body. Whereas when you drink alkaline water that's bicarb based, but with not so with potassium, the way our formulation is, as opposed to salt, then you actually truly hydrate, and without the added negative effects of sodium. And sodium can lead to high blood pressures, has a
Right.
whole lot of, so what you want, especially as you age, you want a limited amount of salt in your diet to avoid a whole slew of problems. But even in that competitive athlete, you don't want salt buildup in your system, because during periods of dehydration, it doesn't matter unless you hook them up to an IV, they will go through periods of dehydration. You'll notice a lot of athletes have kidney stones. And the number one reason is periods of dehydration and the added side effect of having salt in their alkaline water. So if you're going to hydrate, we tell you that tap water is not, in most areas of the country, is no longer good enough. It has fluoride in it. It's not good for you. So bottled water is the way to go. And if you're going to go bottled water, and if you're going to be that athlete, or you're going to be that person that has these mild conditions, then alkaline water is the way to go. And if you're going to go alkaline water, then you want to look at the ingredients, and you want to avoid the salt in the water. You want to avoid the fluoride in the water, and you're going to want to drink something that is superior. And when you do all of that, it really, the hydration, the water, it really gets down deep at the cellular level. It helps detoxify the body. It has immunities against cancer. It helps neutralize some of the extra processing acid that's in our processed food. I mean, I can just go on and on and on, and it just doesn't end.
I totally get it. I mean, when I don't feel well, I'll go on a water fast for a day or so, and I feel like it builds my immune system. But that's my personal choice. To bring it back to home, and maybe Tony, you want to add in on this. We know what hydration does, thanks to your explanation. An athlete, a boxer, walks into a ring what happens to that boxer when he's dehydrated?
Hey, Jill. So basically, all our fighters, I would say we have about 50 athletes right now, and everyone that follows the program and stays on the water, they don't have a problem hydrating correctly when they are cutting weight. All of them drink, I would say, about 2 to 3 of the 1 liters. And when they are cutting weight, their body's still staying hydrated at the same time. So they're not feeling weak. And when they are in the ring, they still have that energy because they're hydrated. And a lot of the fighters refuse to drink anything else. They love this, even when they're not in training camp, they still come back to drink this water.
Because we have understood that one of the worst things that a boxer can do entering a fight is to be dehydrated. And that is it is one of the, in a way, one of the leading causes of fatalities in the ring is dehydration. And so we know that it's really important. And Tony, your connection with boxing is also in the art world, because I want to get to what you and David do in terms of all these amazing events you've been doing around the world, both with celebrities and with charities. In fact, I saw you last at the Cancerland event, where you supported in Fashion Week, an event that had to do with women's breast cancer and research. And RX supported that event. It was quite thrilling that a company would do that. And I know you go for a lot of the least popular, most needy charities that really, really need your help. And that makes me really proud to be affiliated with you. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the events that you're doing around the world, some of the causes that you're supporting?
Yeah, so our main goal, like Harry said, our biggest thing is the give back. You know, we really like to help people and build a family. And that's how we've gotten the athletes, through our relationship. And it's not really about sending someone water and saying, hey, you know, you could advertise. It's more about building that network, building that family to where, you know, we're together as one. And it makes a really big difference, especially when we're doing a give back and we're helping different, you know, not-for-profit organizations. We've worked with Telly Swift and Boxing Wags Association. We worked with FOBA, that with 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗗 in Chicago. We've worked with the Paul Chester Foundation, WBC Cares. And David could elaborate more on the fashion that we did. I believe it was about 7-8 months ago.
Yeah, I remember distinctly because I was there. I was going to go to it because it actually, my friend Champagne Joy was the founder of Cancerland, and I was shocked to find out and pleased that you were sponsoring this event. It was a fabulous event. That's a great picture. And that beautiful artwork we saw before, by the way, who did that, Tony? The picture of Deontay.
That's one of my greatest passions is painting when I have time.
And you seem to paint mostly about boxers.
Yeah, you know, because I'm a huge boxing fan. I used to box, kickbox, and that's where my heart was. And, you know, I just took my passion and put it into boxing. And that's how I was able to build a relationship with all these fighters. Basically, every painting I've ever done always went to the winner of the fight. I never sold a painting. And that's what built my relationship and trust with all these athletes. And, you know, we were able to, build this big family.
I can't imagine you fighting, Tony. You look so nice.
So
yeah,
David,
I mean, it was years ago. I stopped because I had a bad shoulder injury and I could never pursue it. But if I didn't get hurt, I'd probably be a boxer or a kickboxer now.
So it gives you a great empathy for the athletes that you work with.
Absolutely, to see all the hard work and dedication they put behind.
Sure. Nobody really knows what it's like to hold your hands up for 3 minutes with gloves unless you've done it.
It's true.
So David, as COO and the pandemic being here, we need the water more than ever, but how has it affected the operations?
Some of the things that have been affected are things that you wouldn't necessarily think about. Caps for the bottles, you know, production of the actual bottle themselves, you know, this pandemic has kind of affected every sector in terms of even shipping. You know, things are delayed for transport. But but again, we've really stayed the course. You have to obviously have some patience, some thick skin during all this. But water is considered an essential item, so we have been able to, get freight scheduled, and we're able to travel with the water because of what it entails with a necessity, so to speak. Whereas I know some other businesses, things aren't considered essential, so they may have been affected a little more. So as much as we've slowed down with some of the gyms and some of the actual brick and mortar locations, we've really picked up and increased the home deliveries. Actually, now we've been dealing with different meal prep companies to include the water with some of their meal prep deliveries. And like Dr. 𝗥𝗡𝗨𝗡𝗗 said, you can't really trust water anymore. You can't trust the tap water. And not everyone has the means or the ability to put a filtration system in their house and keep up with the changing of the filters and things like that. So RX Water really gives you an on-the-go solution. And then with our home delivery platform, it really allows people to, really stay quarantined, so to speak, and stay in the comfort of their home and still get quality product delivered right to their door. So as much as the pandemic's been an effect, we've been very lucky that we've been able to kind of navigate through it and still, maintain the course and our goal.
So tell us a little about 7-Eleven in Chicagoland, the kickoff.
Yeah, so it was a great thing. We met Chris down in Mexico during the WBC convention. Yeah, and he actually works with 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗞𝗦 and the FOBA Academy, and they were interested in becoming a distributor of the water. Simultaneously, one of Harry's contacts put together this 7-Eleven deal that they wanted the water in 7-Eleven. So it was kind of like, you're taking the water in Chicago, we have these people that want the water, so it's kind of hit the ground running type of thing. And they've been really crushing it out in Chicago and Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's been great reception. They've been in the news a few times this week with different givebacks that they've been doing there, and kind of just replicating what we've been doing on the East and West Coast, now in the Midwest, and trying to bring, quality hydration and some sort of give back program to the community there as well.
So Michelle, you have a very close relationship with all of the teams in Chicago. They did an incredible event there called Two Nations, One Dream, which was between Mexico and the United States. And the children who participated in the amateur tournaments also had to do community work, keep up their grades. And at the end of this, Mexico and Chicago had a tournament together. So Michelle, how do we bring this water to Lalo and all of our wonderful gyms in Chicago? How do we let them know about it?
One of the main concerns about doing this RX water, because we have tasted the water and you feel the difference when you have it. And I've been talking with them, and they didn't had the chance to get in their gyms because they were closed. So now that we have the water there, we can do a great deal, because besides the water, it's amazing the things that all the RX team do with community. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
We did in Vegas to the gyms, and to, it was great to see all the passion that these three guys put in giving to the people back. And you feel like you are with family there, besides they're great guys, they deliver the products to the kids and they taste the water and they feel better. So we're going to put our heart and soul to get all RX water in all the gyms, in Unanimous and everything that we can do there, because they deserve to get the best, and RX is the best, I think.
I think it is. I started drinking it, and it's really hard to go to any other water after that. I mean, I'm very skeptic, but I really felt a perceivable difference drinking this water. So guys, I want you to brag a little bit. Tell us a little bit about the celebrities that you're sponsoring and that are drinking RX now. Come on, spice it up a bit. Who do you got?
Tony?
Nobody? Come on,
Tony's got the list.
They're doing it because they're drinking it and enjoying it. So who do you got?
We have so many people. We have Mitch Robinson from the New York Knicks. We have a couple of fighters. We just acquired Derevchenko, who fought Triple G, and Danny Jacobs, he's going to start with us. We have a lot of fighters like 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗗, he was a former champ. Young fighters. I like to focus a lot on the young fighters because we build that relationship. And we have a great fighter out of Brooklyn, Nikita. We have another fighter, 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗞𝗦 out of Staten Island. Young man, Vito Milanetti. A couple of guys out in California that
I know you flew out there. During the pandemic, you flew out there to bring your water.
Yeah. No, I was out there for a week. You know, I wanted to make sure that the fighters were getting the proper water they needed. We built some new relationships out there. We're also working with 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗞𝗦 super bad, who's drinking the water also. Another young man by the name of Evan Sanchez out of California. Mercito, who's fighting on the 24th. We have two of our fighters on the Golden Boy DAZN card, which is coming up this weekend. And they'll both be on the card. You know, Telly Swift from Boxing Wags loves the water.
She's a fabulous lady.
Yeah, she is amazing. Big heart. We've been working with her a lot. And, you know, a lot of people just in the boxing industry alone are drinking. Trainers. We have a couple of trainers like Willie Vargas, Sosa. He gives all his fighters the water. And we also have a strength coach out in Long Island by the name of Scooter, David Honig, who tailors to athletes like LL Cool J, and he keeps the water in his gym also, and they're all drinking it.
It's great. I mean, there are very few waters that are supported not only by the largest sanctioning body in the world, but by a urological organization, by a medical organization. I mean, I don't know many water companies that have a doctor as part of their team. I mean, to me, that's really, really impressive. And now I want to hear all about my wish lights. I'm so pleased about that. We were about to do an event in Brooklyn at the Harlem Academy for young men, and Tony and his team developed these incredible lights, friendship lights, that we could do prayer to the athletes that had passed and prayers for all the athletes going to the ring, especially after having had such a tragic year last year. But unfortunately, the pandemic hit just at the time we were going to do the event. But Michelle, do we have a picture of those wish lights? They're so amazing.
We're going to go on it. Just give me a second. But as Tony said, for example, Mercito, the things that you do for community, it goes to the people, because Mercito has been a hero of humanity of the WBC. He participated in Suleiman's award because he's a great guy. And the things that RX does for community, it goes back to their athletes, because they know what they're doing and they give a great support to the community. So it's amazing. Gilbert, can we get that video I sent you, please?
This is the friendship light here.
Thank you. Here we go.
Oh, there you go.
I created these special edition friendship lights in conjunction with WBC Cares and RX Water.
Vamos a desayunar, eh?
Have and make a special wish for those that need it most.
I mean, talking about going the extra step, I mean, not only doing an event together, but actually to design that. And you actually designed a WBC belt with a wish light, friendship light as the buckle. I mean, the idea we were going to have of having 500 students and do some sort of prayer together for the future, for the health and well-being of people, but particularly of the athletes, and then having them pull the string and have the whole room light up with friendship. It was such a beautiful, beautiful idea. And we're going to do it, but it was thrilling to me. So you're such a diverse group of people. You each have such incredible and different backgrounds. What is your vision for the future?
Doctor.
What do you see coming down the pike that you can talk about?
We should defer to our leader, Harry. Let's see what he has to say.
Harry, what is your vision for the future? Share it with us.
Yeah, for the future, honestly, we're very, very proud of. I'll give a couple of I would say victories that we've dealt with. We're now slightly over 2,000 stores through our distributors in the Northeast. Obviously, the 7-Eleven deal has launched us into about 500 plus locations, built up for the next 6 months. On the West Coast, we cover a range from Coachella Valley to Apple Valley to an hour radius of Santa Monica, and another about 500 locations that we service. We're really excited about working with former MGM CEO and currently Resorts World CEO with our RX Boost B12 multivitamin shot being in all 3,500 rooms of the new Resorts World casino, which is very exciting. Our product line ranges from an 8-ounce to a super proud of the 16-ounce aluminum, which is found currently actually on Amazon Prime, which is we're very, very proud of. It's a Amazon Prime item, and all our products are going to be soon to follow suit. Tony has spearheaded that along with the Amazon team to launch every single product in our arsenal. We also have a 24-ounce Zen Bottle, which essentially looks like this. We have a 1 liter that's very hot in the gyms and markets that be, and a sneak peek, we're going to be launching a 1-gallon BPA PET 1 bottle that for more big box type accounts. Another thing where the doctor and I have developed a relationship, obviously through the doctor's channels, with another entity in the herbal pharmaceutical realm through the doctor's channel, and he's developing in this aluminum bottle a immunity defense. Obviously, what we've been and that's going to be very, very soon to come, probably in the next quarter. The need, obviously, with all our charitable givebacks to the first responders, all the hospitals ranging from New York Presbyterian, Hackensack Hospital, St. Mary's, out here, Eisenhower, and other affiliates that the doctor has made it a focus during this pandemic to make sure that all of the first responders are taken care of in the COVID wards, as well as home. We name them leaving out because they were drastically affected. So he really became very passionate about creating a good immunity defense type product. And again, we've been in very detailed talk with other groups that are very synergetic to what we want to do, and have our full support. And it'll be launched pretty soon under the doctor's guidance, and obviously, it really is. We're very thankful and we're very blessed because God constantly exceeds our expectations. And, for that reason, and obviously the current pandemic and whatnot, we're all very passionate about doing good, right? Because at the end of the day, I believe there's only 3 pillars, right, to every human. And that's really good words, good thoughts, and good deeds. That's something that each one of us is very, very passionate. And I know we have that to share in all our essence. Hence why, honestly, the synergy and with Mauricio and everyone else in the WBC family is just there, because I think that's the one thing that we all have deeply in common, you know, and that's something you feel either instantly or you don't, you know. But we're very proud, and we definitely feel that. And I see as the future is what you said. I see it very bright, you know. Muhammad Ali said that getting to the mountaintop is not an issue. Everyone could get there. Jill, you might get there in a day. I may take 2 months. You know, Tony might take, you know, a week. Getting to the top is not the issue. It's the pebble in your shoe. And I really look at this pandemic and everything else, the pebble in your shoe, right? I really have everyone on every walk of life that's going through this. It's just, I've had some dear friends that are going through some stuff currently that we're speaking, that, you know, are in my constant thoughts and prayers. But this is not going to win, you know, like anything else throughout our history. The resolve that we have as beings, and honestly, the developments that we have as a human race. This is something that will, you know, get under control. And I almost don't want to believe or even entertain the thought of the new normal. You know, it really is not the new normal. And I think with, obviously there's going to be some tweaks that we have to do as responsible citizens, everyone globally. But this is definitely something that we will conquer, like everything else we've done.
Doctor, I have one
I
question.
so agree. I consider myself a cautious optimist, but I'm not. I think we have to move forward, at least if we can physically. We have to move forward emotionally and psychically. We have to just keep moving forward and believing. I'm not going to leave the world like this for the kids. We're going to do better.
I have one question, doctor. For example, that we're staying at home with our kids, and also for us, what's the amount of water we should recommend? You know, it's different for ages and everything, but just the regular guys, how much water should I tell them? Because they want to drink Coke or, well, sodas and everything. So at least what's the minimum amount of water we need to keep well hydrated our families?
You know, there over the years have been various hydration programs, right, for the sedentary and for those that want to be active. First of all, soda could possibly be the worst thing you could be doing. And believe me, every day is a challenge in my household to keep my kids away from soda. So that by itself is a challenge. Having said that, one thing that you can always, a simple rule that you can always remember, which is you divide basically your weight, your ideal body weight, by half, and that's what you need to be drinking in ounces. For example, if my ideal body weight is, let's say, 180 pounds, then half of that is 90 pounds, or in this case, we're going to say 90 ml, right? Or I'm sorry, 90 ounces, right? So that's how much you ought to be drinking. Now, keep in mind, on average, if you have a typical 3 meals per day, a good third of that form of hydration comes in even in the solid food that you're having. So you basically take away a third of that number. So now you're down with 60 ounces. So if you weigh 180 pounds, you divide it by half, that's 90. You take that the third of that away because you're going to eat food, assuming the average manner, 3 meals a day. Then you're down to 60 ounces, and 60 ounces is what you ought to be drinking. Now, these are times that oftentimes our children, ourselves sometimes have to stay home. There might be periods where you may have a scare and you may self quarantine yourself just to be on the safe side. Well, it's a perfect opportunity to actually not sit around and actually get up and do something. I know my own excuse for not exercising is lack of time. Well, the times that I'm homebound, and that's a perfect time to actually go and exercise. But then you don't have to be that scientific about it. The next thing you want to do is, if you're going to exercise, you know, quantify your characterize your level of exercise: mild, moderate, or severe. Severe being that competitive athlete. So if you're going to be mild, add the other third of ounces into that. So if you're 180 pounds, go ahead and drink the 90 ounces. If you are going to be more active and a little bit more exercise, but not at the athlete level, then you just want to double up that original ounces that you were supposed to take. So in this case, you take 120. But more importantly than the amount of water you want to drink is simply this. Remember, at the end of the day, when you drink water, at any given point, if there is too much of it, your body's going to get rid of it. It doesn't have this amazing storage capacity where, we're not camels, where it's stored somewhere and then it picks it when it needs it. For example, if I go and drink 4 of these bottles right now, because that's how much I'm supposed to drink today. Well, guess what? In the next 2 hours, I'll basically, excuse the language, I'll be peeing away 3.5 of it away. So the key is not to just drink how much you need that particular second. The key is constant drinking of small amounts. That's what your body needs. If your body sees too much water, your blood pressure goes up, your heart tells your kidney, get rid of it for me. And you will get rid of that. So that's not proper hydration. Proper hydration is when you're constantly drinking small amounts. So a bottle like this, I'm drinking our 24 ounce, usually typically drink 3 of these a day. I'm going to drink this over the course of the next 2 to 3 hours. And then I'll open up my second one and I'll do the same.
Thank you very much.
I'll open up the third one and I'll do the same. So I hope that helps.
Thank you.
Doctor, a lot of people say, I mean, it sounds stupid. They don't want to drink water. They don't like drinking water. How do you really know when your body is dehydrated? What are the signs?
So that's actually a very good question. By the time you feel the signs of dehydration, to be honest with you, there's already some end effects that's already occurring. Your kidneys already are working harder. You may be already laying down some crystals because your body's already dehydrated. And once those crystals form, you may not actually be able to reverse that process. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. So really, key is education. But some of the early signs of dehydration is actually fatigue, dizziness, not feeling up to yourself, muscle ache, especially if you've been exercising. Those are the simple ones. But the key is, don't ever let it get to that stage. In medicine, we always say prevention is key. So you don't actually want to wait till you're dehydrated, because now it takes harder to hydrate. Because again, even if you're well dehydrated and you drink 3 of these, your body sees a higher amount that it normally needs. It's going to get rid of it, and yet you're still in the dehydrated status. So the key is really just constantly drink. Again, throughout the day, you don't want to be up all night urinating. So you want to end it at some point. So you want to do this throughout the day, maybe a couple hours before bedtime, because I don't want to start getting phone calls about docs told me to drink all day, and then I'm up all night. Believe me, I get that all the time. So the key is proper constant hydration is the key. As far as taste, it's a challenge. You're right. I get a lot of my folks that say that, but while there are always tricks in the trade, you can add powder for flavoring, all that stuff. The reality is, where there's a will, there's a way. And I I'll be honest with you. I was a major soda drinker. My father, I love him dearly, but he was a Pepsi addict, and he introduced me to Pepsi when I was 5, and that was our drink, morning, lunch, dinner. Um, and when I got my first kidney stone at age 32, that's when I knew that that wasn't the right thing to do anymore. So, and switching to water, and I used to never like water. So I'm actually one of those folks. Um, it was hard, but once there's a way, there's a, once there's a will, there's a way. Now, not only I have this, I'm actually one of the biggest subscriber to our own company. Luckily, I get my owner's discount.
I hope so, because with all the charity you guys do, I don't know how you make any money, but go ahead.
Uh, so the good news is, I've become a fan, so I actually can't live without it. I actually like the taste because it is not like regular water. It's a silky, little heavier tone to it if you pay attention. So there is that. My children are on this. They're hooked on it. So once you get used to it, actually, when you go back and drink, let's say some of these cheaper brands out there, the stuff that's the stuff that you get like million of them for 99 cents, where the bottle crimples in your hand and all that, you can actually know what real water and what a good water tastes like. So now it's not, again, if you've had it, I know you have, that silky heavier tone to it is actually the reason, one of the reasons why I continue to drink it, because I'm actually a fan now. So
Tastes good. And where does this water get produced? Where is this water from, RX?
Harry? David, Harry?
Yeah, basically right now it's we have about 5 co-packers nationally, 3 of which are on the West Coast and 2 on the East. But our secret is that we are basically use vapor distilled spring water. What Doctor alluded to with the other, let's say, big box store brands or whatnot, that the plastic crimples up. Those bottles actually, when heated in cars, produce about 13 cancer-causing agents that actually seep into the water. Hence why they're so cheap, right? Our product, we use a BPA PET 1 bottle for our plastics, which is basically technically a reusable bottle. And because certain parties and to be eco-friendly as well, hence why we did our aluminum 16 ounce, because obviously it's more eco-friendly. And we're only one of handful of companies that are in the space. We want to be cutting edge as our research and development consists of. It really, you're basically not only getting the proper hydration that's hydrating your cellular level, you're also getting your electrolytes, right? Without the sugary drinks, like such as the Powerades and the Gatorades and whatnot, that really, you'll have that burst of energy and then you'll have an immediate crash afterward.
So this is almost like vintage water. You should kind of put a date on it, and like they do with champagne.
Yeah. No, basically our product has a 2-year shelf life. And then once, obviously, and we bottle it actually above a 9.5, probably closer to a 9.8 at the finish level. Obviously, the alkalinity does drop once the bottle's open and oxygen enters the product. But it out-tests all leading competitors. And we don't, like the doctor alluded to early, we don't use the baking sodas or whatnot that some other big brands kind of do to raise the alkalinity. Our secret, so to say, is we're vapor distilled spring water.
Great. So Tony, what is your next trip and what is your next painting?
Well, I've done a few pieces during quarantine, and then I was kind of all painted out. group myself and put some thoughts together. I have a lot of people that have been reaching out to me, to do a couple of gloves. But you know what it is with art, you have to be in that right frame of mind, in that creativity mind. You can't just, you could ask me, Tony, can you just paint this? If I'm not in the mood, it's not going to come out right. So once I get back into that mode, I'm going to probably start painting again, maybe in a couple of weeks or so.
We could see your paintings on Instagram, right?
Yes.
Because I've been following you. What is it again? How do you do it?
Tony
What is your
Nasa? TonyNasa. You'll
They're
see all my
great.
work on there.
Nothing to do with water, but you should give yourself a treat and take a look at some of Tony's paintings.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So I want to go around the room and just ask any last thoughts, anything that you want to say. I mean, we're so pleased with this relationship. The WBC is very, very dedicated to health and safety. We have a health and safety task force. We get involved with no products that are not up to our standards. I mean, whether it's water or gloves or whatever, they have to pass muster. So this has been a thrilling relationship and an incredibly passionate relationship. So I just love this. So let's go around the room, and anyone have anything else they'd like to sum up with? Michelle and I would love to hear.
Just wanted to thank the WBC for this talks program. I know we're up to, was this number 83 now?
I should have said that at the top, but I wasn't prepared.
Number
83.
It's a nice respite from the daily grind, and to hear different topics and different perspectives in and around the boxing world and beyond. It's really a great platform. It was nice that you guys set aside time today for the whole kind of RX team to be on. And when we say RX team, I really feel like we're all part of the team. Jill, Michelle, we text outside of business, and I consider you guys good friends.
You're scaring me.
Michelle said, "Are you ready to log in today?" I said, "Isn't it next week?" And we had Tony saying the same thing to him. He's like, "No, it's today." So we like to joke around and stuff, and it actually helps when you're doing business type work. It helps to have that camaraderie and that friendship. It makes things, it doesn't feel like work when we're dealing with you guys. So I appreciate everything, and I'm looking forward to continued success and as Harry said, brighter days ahead.
Thank you, David. Doctor, is there anything you'd like to say to sum up?
I don't know. Again, I want to say the same thing of, this is not my typical world, the world of boxing, but because of this relationship, I've been introduced to it. And so I've become a fan, and in a very amateurish way, I've become a boxer. So I bought myself a boxing, bag, and both my 14-year-old boy and my 10-year-old girl and myself, we basically hit the bag at least 2 to 3 hours a week, usually on a Saturday. So we've actually become boxers in our own right.
Wow.
We just don't hit each other.
Good.
We've become I love the relationship. At the end of the day, it is also a business. In order for us to continue our charitable donations and helps and what have you, we do need to continue the business. So we would appreciate everyone's support in purchasing some of our products and hydrating themselves well, and in the process help us continue to reach out to the various deserving organizations so we can continue our work in this arena. So thank you.
Well, we completely support you on that, but if you're boxing now, you better drink a lot of water. Tony?
No, I just
anything to add?
Yeah, everything is great. I'm happy to be working with the WBC. It's just great to have like-minded people together, and I'm excited to grow. I think we're gonna go great places and help a lot of people. I think it's gonna be great.
Harry?
In closing, I really want to thank the WBC and really kudos to the vision of what you guys are truly as a council, as an organization. What you guys stand for is very cutting edge, even down to the 83rd episode of WBC Talks. I know behind the scenes, Michelle is amazing. One of the most clutch, underrated men that I've ever seen. It really has his finger on the pulse and is very passionate, organizing.
Yes, he is very passionate.
Along with yourself, obviously, your heart, your passion, Jill, really radiates through you. You really are a special person and an amazing being. And the reality is, honestly, as a group, as a team, the legacy of 𝗧𝗟𝗡𝗗 and what the WBC has done as the, I would say, the standard of excellence and fighter care and fighter first, I like to say. And we're really proud of that. We're really proud of what you guys do, what your vision is, and what your passion is, and what your care element is. Hence why, obviously, the doctors, the board, the group, myself on the humanitarian realm, you will always have our full love and support beyond, obviously, business, more as family and friends. I know the doctor is developing something for pro bono surgeries at cost for men's health and wellness and well-being, meaning through prostate. Our plastic surgeon would love to work one-on-one with WBC Cares and do maybe deviated septum surgeries for fighters that can't sleep at night, right? These are all discussions that we've obviously had and cultivated with Mauricio, and we're looking forward to really making true substantial caring changes and using our network as a blessing to both the WBC and to, in good faith, develop our partnership and really take it to the next level on all fronts.
Well, we called this the water show, but to me, this is like the antidepressant show. These are all so amazing things that you are doing at a time when most people are so terrified and scared of an uncertain future. And yet you have things that you're planning, things that are positive. It's amazing and it's very uplifting. Michelle, is there something you want to add?
No, it's just, again, it's a pleasure to be with my family, because that's what you are, the boxing family, and David and Tony and Harry, they know how I feel about them. It's amazing, the relationship and the bonding we have done. Thank you for your words, Harry and David and Tony. And well, it's a pleasure, and let's continue with this great work, because the things we have done in such a little time, they're amazing, so we can do amazing things together. And it's a pleasure, and thank you for your time, guys.
And by the way, it's 83 English shows. There's probably another 83 Spanish shows. So it's been about 160 shows altogether. David, where can we get RX water if we want that water of our choice?
Right now, if the easiest place is Amazon Prime, 2-day delivery, and
great, that's easy.
Shipping. If not, we're in the New York City metropolitan area, the Los Angeles metropolitan area, and now Chicago and Minneapolis metropolitan areas. So we're constantly expanding. We're looking to open up Colorado in the next few weeks as a new territory. And right now they can reach out to us directly. We have a location finder on our website with a map of locations where it's available. And then, like I said, Amazon's probably the quickest, easiest way.
And the website is?
www.drinkrxwater.com.
Makes sense. So before we close, I want to give a shout out to Zena, who was one of the liaisons who brought us all together. Couldn't have done it without her. Never met her physically. You guys meet her? She is our muse. She's our mystical muse. But we love her. She only does good things.
We haven't met her, but she's a positive guardian angel.
She is. I know.
I know. Very passionate person, obviously, with health-related stuff, and is really a special soul. And she has a great mind for bridging people and people together. And thank you, Zena, obviously.
So, end of the show. Stay home, stay safe, drink a lot of water. And if it were me, I'd be drinking RX. And it's the truth, because that's what I drink. What, David?
We put a landing page, medicalgradehydration.com, and we posted some of the doctors' talks from the convention. If anybody would like to see, to get more in-depth knowledge about the hydration protocol and some of the benefits of alkalinity and hydration, if they go to medicalgradehydration.com, it'll direct them to those videos.
And you're going to be at our convention, aren't you?
It's virtual,
Our
right?
online convention?
Yes.
Okay, great, because it's going to be a lot of fun. It's
Yes.
going to be the first intensive virtual, online, interactive, so even the fans who can't normally fly to, Russia or Florida or whatever, can just click on their computer and join us and really see what goes on in boxing, ratings, fights, everything, seminars, and water. So have a beautiful, beautiful day, and thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. It's been our pleasure.
God
So
bless.
we usually end with a virtual hug. Can we do it?
Yeah.
Come
absolutely.
on.
Let's
I got
do it.
1,
Let's
2,
do it.
3, 4, 5 guys there. I want this
All right.
virtual
All
hug.
right.
Come on. Reach
All
on
right,
out.
here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I'll
Here
even give
we
you a
go.
virtual kiss, Jill.
It was virtual.
All right.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks,
Enjoy
everyone.
the day.
Ciao. All
God
right.
bless.
All right.
God
God
My
bless.
pleasure. Bye.
All right. Bye.